facts about the nature of life, which ground evaluative norms more generally. An organism does not survive regardless of what it does. It needs to follow a definite course of action, that is to say, what it ought to do, if it is to remain in existence. It's this fact, the fact that living organisms remain in existence only by following a specific course of action, that explains all values and all oughts. This isn't to say that life is one good thing among others, let alone just because we happen to prefer it. It's a much deeper point than that. It's saying that life is the only fact that makes any values possible at all. If the universe were lifeless, with nothing but stars, rocks, and energy fields, there would be no entities to which anything could be good or bad. Things would just happen. We can also explain the ultimate value of life. The ultimate value of life without any kind of infinite regress. What is living action good for? What is nutrition, locomotion, growth? What are these things good for? Well, they're good for more nutrition, locomotion, growth. That is, more life. Life is an end in itself, not because it is some end state unrelated to anything, but because when it succeeds, it is a self-reinforcing activity. Value concepts have no other basis. No rational basis for them has ever been offered. And the idea that the good is relative or subjective, if it's in relation to the life of an organism, is really just silly equivocal sophistry. In physics, the weight of an object is assessed only in relation to the mass of another body pulling on it, as opposed to something like mass, which is not relational. So you know, of course, your weight reduces as you go further out in space. Weight is a relational property. It only holds in relation to the other massive body. That's why astronauts are basically weightless. We're not on Earth. So weight is a relational property, just like goodness, but it's an objectively identifiable relational property that scientists study. That doesn't make it relative, not relative in the sense of being relative to mere belief, which is the kind of relativity that subjectivists talk about. The same is true for goodness. The goodness of the sun in relation to a plant. It's only good if it's not too close. So, if it's rumored that some philosophers think some things are just plain good, but they're not good for anyone or for any known purpose, the objective response to them should be, this claim has no basis, it has no meaning. Toss it out. Likewise, if you think God's love is good, but it's not good for anything God needs to do because he's an eternal, indestructible being, you should toss that out too. The life-based theory of the good explains the very moral judgments that I've endorsed. For human beings, nothing better enables the end of living than grasping the truth about what enables life. Our minds are our basic tool of survival. Human beings prosper through thinking and production. And I argued, without getting any response, for why recognizable moral virtues like honesty and integrity and justice, virtues the woman in my example exemplifies, all embody the rational pursuit of truth. This is why my opponent's argument about evolution is irrelevant. The atheists who think morality is a subjective illusion don't understand the relevance of biology to value. Morality isn't a feeling that is pre-programmed by our genes. It is a form of rational knowledge we discover about values that promote our life. Our minds were naturally selected for the enormous survival value of the ability to discover the truth. This is not random. There's a causal connection between having this ability and continuing to survive. The mutation that gave us the ability may have been random in the sense that it was unpredictable, but it's his burden to show that we or it could have been otherwise. If it were otherwise, If we were really raised as bees, yeah, we would need to act as bees, but then we would not be who we are. We would be of a different species. The fact is that we are not. Objective morality doesn't speculate about how the facts might have been or ask what makes them keep being the way they are. It's sheer religious faith to think something had to make the facts what they are. Objective morality accepts the facts for what they are and gives guidance in light of them. Thank you.